The most important homestand of the entire season kicks off with Buffalo. Robyn and I will tell you all about it on the Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast.
You are Locked On Utah Hockey Club, your daily podcast on the Utah Hockey Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So I'm Callahan, Robyn Leaño here with you. I am a longtime NHL voice, and you can follow me on Blue Sky at Tom Talks. Then we have Robyn Leaño, a longtime team analyst, and you can follow Robyn over on Blue Sky at Robyn Icetime and Twitter at Robyn_Leaño. I'm throwing those out there early today, Robyn. We don't normally get right to our social media, but I'm going to put it out there because now coming down the stretch here, this is going to be some of the important things for fans as far as reaction and talking to us. This is the best place to get us. And I know we usually leave it to last, but I wanted to put it first today and talk just about, hey, if you have questions, if you want to talk about percentages, about chances, Robyn's always combing websites and down to the 1/1000th of a percentile, figuring out who's got what chance of making what. So feel free to reach out to us there and subscribe to the podcast while you're at it. Speaking of which, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Robyn, I'm also not understating it in any way. I don't think. You could tell me if you think differently, that this is the most important homestand of the year. And it kicks off Thursday night with the Buffalo Sabres, who I think are a dangerous opponent right now.
It very much is so, and I feel like it feels a little bit heightened, Tom, with the that loss to Edmonton. I know we said let's forget about it, but at the same time, it changes how you view things in the standings. And now every single win, especially with this homestand, means so much. Utah needs to capture 2 points wherever possible, if they want to have any standing and any chance of taking a look at making a fight into the postseason. And that's what makes it so important. You see in what direction they're going to be going for the remainder of this final stretch.
Robyn, Buffalo could be a trap game. Tampa Bay Lightning, one of the hottest teams in the East, and Andrei Vasilevsky is back. And now you've got the Detroit Red Wings to wrap up that 3-game homestand as well, fighting for their playoff lives and playing some pretty good hockey, albeit a little inconsistent. There's no easy game here in Buffalo. It's kind of weird. Every year there's some team that deals away players that looks like they got worse and somehow gets a little bit better after the trade deadline. Now, look, Buffalo's going to miss Dylan Cousins. I think it was a horrible trade to get rid of him, but whatever. He goes to Ottawa. He's been tearing it up. But the Buffalo Sabres have come on, and they just beat Boston in overtime over the weekend. So right now, the Sabres have nothing to lose. They can play spoiler very easily, and there is professional pride on the line. Plus, they do have some weapons. And Robyn, I almost think getting punched in the face 7-1 by Edmonton is going to make this a better response game for the Utah Hockey Club. If they beat Utah, I think there would be a tendency to look past Buffalo to Tampa Bay, but because they got such a beatdown from the Oilers, I don't think they will.
Yeah, I do feel like that loss came at a really interesting spot because now, I mean, Utah wants to, they're going to want to prove something, right? And even if no matter who the team is against, it happens to be, it's going to be Buffalo this time. And yeah, you said, they're just going to be fighting, at this point in the season, they're fighting for pride, doing whatever they can. But for the Utah Hockey Club, they want to prove something. They want to prove that whatever we saw just the other night was just a fluke, that they don't play that poorly.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I remember how we had talked about how you're going to handle the starts. And let's say that Veg had played the whole game against Edmonton. Maybe this is where you put Stauber in, would have been against the Sabres. I think you got to come back with Veg, and it'll be his 12th straight start, but he did get 2 periods off in Edmonton. Yeah, I think you got to come back with him, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I was kind of going back and forth on this. Part of me, there's 2 schools of thought for this, Tom, And I'm gonna let everyone kind of maybe share their thoughts on what they think, which school of thought is better. The first one is Veg needs the break. Yes, you're right. 12 straight starts. That's incredible. Like that's a lot of work for any goaltender to go 12 straight starts, especially with what happened just the other night. But on the other hand, in starting Veg against Buffalo, even if it is against Buffalo, however you view this team, it shows, and it's a message to Veg saying, we still have confidence in you. We know that wasn't your best game, but we know what you are capable of. We know you can do. We know you have a lot better hockey in you. We still have confidence in you. This start is that message to you, telling you that.
Yeah, it. I mean, again, it's a weird situation, right? Because there's no Connor Ingram. I don't think it'd be a question if there was a Connor Ingram. You could get the rest to Veg that he needs, but he's going to have to carry the workload the rest of the way. He's going to play 95% of the games, and that's why it was so critical on the schedule that we figure out places to slide Stauber in, because now if you do come back with him against Buffalo, the next opportunity I see for playing Stauber is not to the end of the month against Chicago. There's Tampa Bay, there's Tampa, Florida back-to-back. Maybe you want to slide him into one of those, but can you? You really want Veg to try to go back-to-back and steal points? Not that I don't have confidence in Stauber, by the way. I don't want this to sound like I'm pounding on him. I'm not.
Yeah, right.
I'm not. But
we were talking about high-pressure situations for a goaltender who has shown flashes, but has still yet to prove himself.
And maybe in that back-to-back Tampa, Florida, he gets one of those. And maybe the other thing I think I said it a couple of shows ago, maybe you throw him in against the Florida Panthers and be like, all right, here you go. Win us one, you know?
I mean, sometimes, throwing someone right to the fire against the defending Stanley Cup champions, what you got to give is the motivation you need to kind of be like, hey, welcome to the NHL. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, look, it's not any easier going into April. We talked about it. They got 5 in April at home and then 3 on the road to end. And only 2 of those teams are out of the playoffs. And they see Nashville twice and they see Seattle once. Now, right now, Calgary's borderline, St. Louis is borderline, but that's still a playoff race team.
Yeah, we talked about just earlier this week, Tom, about, the other teams and what it looks like for what strength the schedule down the stretch. And I said it then, and I'll say it again. Utah's stretch is not easy, and you kind of already laid that out. Like, I feel like that is their strength of schedule down the road. It's going to be the challenge set up for them to kind of determine whether or not they are worthy of making the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, and this Buffalo team could present some stumbling blocks. We're going to talk a little bit about the Sabres and more about this homestand. Plus, somebody on the Utah Hockey Club, as it turns out, is an egg-celent teammate. We'll tell you about that in just a minute.
Did you know getting a good night's sleep is the #1 recipe for long-term success in life? I didn't. It took me way longer to realize than I'd like to admit. It was years of tossing and turning. I was always tired. I never felt like I could live up to my potential, but not anymore. Thanks to Bare Mattress. I used their sleep quiz and I matched with the Elite Hybrid. It's perfect for side sleepers like me. Now I wake up energized. I'm getting deeper sleeps and I'm ready to attack the day. No matter how you sleep, Bare Mattress has a match for you with a focus on recovery, cooling, and pressure relief to upgrade your sleep and improve your overall quality of life. Go to baremattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout for 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's baremattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 40% off site-wide. Baremattress.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL.
And today's show is also brought to you in part by the Salt Lake Bees. The Salt Lake Bees have a brand new hive. Experience the thrill of America's favorite pastime at the ballpark at America First Square in downtown Daybreak. Opening day is Tuesday, April 8th, right around the corner. Come kick off the season with giveaways, family fun, and professional baseball in an all-new setting. This season, the Bees are bringing more than just baseball. They're bringing unforgettable experiences for every type of fan, including firework and drone nights that light up the sky all season long. Bark in the park. Bring your dog to the game for 9 special games. Themed events like Superman Night and Cowboy Weekend. Sunday brunch at the ballpark. Every Sunday home game. That sounds awesome. Plus, the 3 Abijas nights celebrating culture and community. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit slbs.com for tickets and the full season schedule. With wallet-friendly pricing, premium seating, and family zones, there's a seat for every fan at the ballpark at America First Square. Visit slbs.com and join the Bees this season. Robyn, did I say that right? The 3 Abijas?
I think so.
Right? Abejas?
Abejas.
That's
Abejas?
what it is. 3 Abejas? Okay. Just want to make sure I get it right. And man, I love baseball. I'm a huge baseball nut.
Look, I'm 100% with you. Like, look, I'm not huge in watching baseball on TV, but going to a game is so fun.
It is probably, yeah. I mean, I love live sporting events, but here's the thing: if you and I were to go to a hockey game, I don't know that we're saying 2 words during the period because I'm locked, right? Like I'm on what's going on the ice. But if we go to a baseball game, we're gonna chill. We're gonna have some conversation and check out the park and have a good time, eat some awesome food. And so I don't know. I like baseball. It is night and day for me from hockey to baseball, but I love both. They are both awesome sports and huge fan of both. So that should be an awful lot of fun. All right. We got the Buffalo Sabres coming into town. And so, Tom, I'm looking at Buffalo's record and I ain't scared is what you're telling me. Okay, I get that. The Buffalo Sabres are and have been one of the worst teams in the league. They are the worst team in the East, 27-33-6, 60 points, but they've won 2 in a row, but only 3 of the last 10. And like I said, since the trade deadline, they've gotten a little bit better. So one of the guys I have to point out, Tage Thompson, because nobody knows who he is, but this is his 3rd straight 30-goal season for Buffalo. 59 points, leads the team in both those categories. So you're going to see a lot of him out there. Also, Rasmus Dahlin, one of the bright young defensemen that the Sabres have, just cracked 40 assists the other night. He's got 52 points on the year. Alex Tuch, Syracuse, New York native, so not too far from Buffalo, grew up a Sabres fan, came over in that trade, the Jack Eichel trade, and he's actually second on the team in goals with 26 goals. So, a couple of guys to keep an eye on. Here's another one, Robyn. I thought this was crazy. Jason Zucker. I kind of forgot he went to Buffalo. 19 goals, but 10 of those are on the power play. And that's the most on the Sabres. 10 power play goals for Zucker this year. Plus, I actually like Buffalo's goaltending. No matter who you get, although it's likely to be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, I think that the Sabres have talent. They just have not put it together. They've struggled. I mean, I've watched these guys a lot this season. It's been a difficult year for them, but I think post-trade deadline now, maybe some of the pressure is off, the weight is off. They know they're not making the playoffs, and they're just kind of free to maybe enjoy playing hockey down the stretch here, which makes them dangerous.
I mean, yeah, I feel like those kind of games are the ones you definitely have that any team has to pay attention to the most. I've always been one, no matter what, for me, at no matter what point in the season, have ever considered any game to be a gimme wins or just like guaranteed wins or any of those terms, because it's never going to be the case. Yeah, like we are, like most of us know what kind of team Buffalo is, but as you said, there is still some talent on that team, and they could do some damage, especially if you look over them. And we've seen games happen like that all the time. Utah has been, has been a victim of that a number of times already this season, overlooking a team and seeing what happens.
Yeah, and that's look, these two teams are more similar than you would think in some categories. 5-on-5, they're both a 1.024 against. So they are slightly better scoring 5-on-5 than what they give up. Here's an interesting stat is Buffalo is one of 14 teams in the league averaging more than 3 goals a game. So the Sabres are capable of putting the puck in the net, 3.12 goals per game. That's actually 12th in the league. So it's not like Utah's defense can take the day off. Utah is only at 2.79 goals per game. So to me, that says 5-on-5 is going to be a battle between these two teams. And it is critical to win that 5-on-5 or at least keep it tied and then hope that Utah's special teams, I think, will be able to carry the day a little bit here. This is where you need the power play to click. This is where you need the PK to do its job. And this is where you need your goaltender. You know how we talk about that stat, expected goals saved above average? You need your goaltender to save a few goals above average.
Yeah, that's usually how it is, and it's like I said, it's going to be. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. You kind of teased it at the beginning too, Tom, of how important this homestand is, but also just how much regulation wins or all that matters. I mentioned this website earlier this week, moneypuck.com. It's one of my favorites. Well, absolutely one of my favorites. It has a lot of different stats: playoff odds, game odds, power rankings, advanced stats for players and stuff like that. An interesting thing is if you actually look at the matchup, and it tells you an idea. It says this is it labels the matchup for these two teams. It says this is a big game for the UHC, because it says if they beat the Sabres in regulation, their chance of making the playoffs goes up by 3.3%. And if they lose in regulation, it goes down by 6.2%.
Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, this is look, they're all must wins now. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, of course. Every
must win in
single
regulation.
game.
Yes.
You want, I mean, look, an overtime win is fine. You still get 2 points, but a regulation win is absolutely necessary because you want to be able to get those extra in the regulation win column for the potential of if you were to get to a tiebreaker, which, based off how we're seeing things trend, Tom, could very well end up that way.
And it would be impossible right now for Utah to win that. Vancouver, St. Louis, Calgary, all at 25 regulation wins, Utah at 22. So Utah better start winning in regulation is really what it comes down to for that tiebreaker. I mean, they better win in regulation if they want to pass those 3 teams in front of them. So
yep,
that's what that means to me. Robyn, FanDuel odds, taking a look at what's going on here. Here's the money line. Buffalo Sabres plus 142, Utah Hockey Club minus 172. The over-under set at 6.5. And the spread, Buffalo with a goal and a half, minus 176. Utah plus 142 at that goal and a half. The wheels are turning. I can see it.
I like those points. Those points. I feel like this is the game that, and I mentioned, and I said at the beginning of the show, and I'll say it again, that Utah's going to want to prove themselves. Much like, and it's kind of in a similar situation, I think, going back to, I think there are a couple of games out there where I said these are games in which Utah needs a statement win, where, like, yeah, we know this team can win and they should win this against this team, but I want to see, like, I don't want to say domination like the way Edmonton played against Utah last night, but I will say it's, as close as you can get, right? You want to see I want to see a Utah Hockey Club be, like, prove they are a better team without a single doubt.
I would love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. I would 100% get behind that. And again, this after the loss Tuesday at Edmonton, that was embarrassing. It was called a lot of things, not up to our standard or below our level, or however you want to phrase it, no matter what it was that came out of whoever's mouth. It just wasn't good enough. And that's the bottom line. No excuses. You've got to be better. And they'll get a chance to be better Thursday against Buffalo. So, Robyn, the other thing, I just want to throw this out there. Anytime goal scorer, I'm going to take Tage Thompson for Buffalo. But I'm going to reach out a little bit here just because I like the way he's playing lately. Sean Durzi at plus 950. Anytime goal scorer for Utah. Kind of like that one.
Okay.
I like the feel.
I like it.
But right now, I mean, I'll take anyone, anytime goal scorer for the Utah Hockey Club. I really do think the over-under is at 6.5. I don't know if it gets to the over, but I do think it will be the race to 3, maybe 4, between these two teams, because they're both capable of putting up 3 a game. And like I said, Buffalo is one of 14 teams that does get over 3.
I could very well see this end up being like a 4-2, 4-1 game.
I would love to see Utah win 4-1 because it means they shut the Sabres down and they find a way to score goals. So that would be a pleasing result to me on a lot of levels.
And the 4-1 is, to me, I think that would be like the ideal situation. And how I mentioned is Utah proven without a single doubt they are the better team. Yeah, sure, they still allow 1, but I never predict. Like, I'm never going to predict shutouts because that's unreasonable. Like, they happen, sure. If they happens, great. I'd love it, but I'll never predict a shutout because that's just a huge ask.
No pressure, Utah. No pressure. Robyn just predicted a shutout. Okay. All right. So why don't we go ahead and this was just a fun story. So I want to tell you who on the Utah Hockey Club is just turning out to be an excellent teammate.
And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the nets. Anyone who's anyone that knows me would always know that I tend to predict or make some projections or whatever on my Arizona Wildcats and making it to the Final Four. Even if it's not a reasonable year to do it, I still do it anyways because I will always I'll always have my alma mater's back. But hey, you know what? That's me. I want to know what you guys maybe think. You can let me know on that. But with FanDuel, you can stay in on the action with all the tournament games happening almost every single day. There's always something exciting to bet on with all the different things from spreads, totals, game props, all of that. Really, really fun stuff on there. The FanDuel app is super easy and simple to use. When I win, I get paid instantly. There's no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all season long.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Okay, so as we come back here, Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño, thanks for hanging with us this far. And if you're still here, hey, please subscribe, like it, thumbs up it, whatever you need to do. Shout it from the rooftops. Help us promulgate the podcast. I teach you new words. Why wouldn't you want to be here? All right, so Robyn, it's interesting, right? Utah is different than a lot of NHL markets. There's a very outdoorsy feel, a very self-sufficient feel, I think, to a lot of things. And I find it very interesting that one particular Utah Hockey Club player just happens to have a chicken coop in his backyard and has now become the unofficial egg supplier of the Utah Hockey Club locker room.
Hey, it's just really funny to hear about that. I mean, I feel like anyone who's probably listening to this probably already knows, like, oh my God, that's amazing, since everyone knows what the price of eggs these days, or if they can
If
even
you can
find them.
find them.
If you can find them, exactly. If you can even find your eggs, it's actually incredibly difficult. And to have a player out there with the chicken coop taking care of that, and you said they are an actual egg supplier. They're like, teammates will come by and they'll pick up the eggs. They'll still they'll take them and be delivered. And it's fun. It's like a little side hustle he's got going here.
That's right. So Mikhail Sergachev, you are an excellent teammate. As he's supplying them with eggs right now, and I love it. I think it's a great story. Although, I think it's funny, and if you picture this in Sergachev's accent, if you've ever heard him talk, you can kind of picture him saying this. He said everybody on the team is grateful except Nick Bjugstad, who obviously, the avian flu going around, and I know Utah's been affected by that quite heavily. But Bjugstad was critical, saying, well, you better make sure that your birds aren't sick, that they don't have the avian flu. And Sergachev said he disrespected my chickens. He disrespected the chickens.
That's hilarious.
However, as the story wraps up and we find out Bjugstad did indeed then still take the eggs anyway, because Bjugstad's wife cannot find eggs at the grocery store. So
it's funny.
Disrespect or not, he's still got eggs.
I will say this too. What I find really funny is just seeing that apparently Nick Bjugstad also responded to that, and pretty much said, and here I have the quote on here, this quote coming from the Salt Lake Tribune. It's like, I did not say anything about the bird flu. I had asked if it was hard keeping the eggs clean, if you've ever had issues with getting sick from it or anything. Buke said he took very big offense to that. I did have to give him a formal apology, and he was supposed to bring me the eggs the next day, and he didn't bring me eggs. I had to apologize, and he ended up bringing them. They were very good.
Interesting. So a little intra locker room relations here, a little trade war over eggs, shots fired, or maybe not shots fired. I guess maybe Bugey didn't actually disrespect the chickens, but there was a perceived slight, and there was no comment from the chickens, by the way. So don't know.
I mean, has anyone reached out to the chickens for comment? I feel like there's a story here.
It maybe perhaps, but not yet. So keep it locked on right here, and we'll let you know if the chickens end up commenting. We'll tell you on social media. And Robyn, where can they find us on social media?
They can find us everywhere on social media, on the app formerly known as Twitter at LO_NHL Utah. You can find me personally at Robyn_Leaño, and on Blue Sky at Robyn Ice Time.
I'm at Tom Talks on Blue Sky, at Callahan on air on Twitter. Still have the presence over there. Don't check it nearly as often, but I'm still there. So if you do have a question and you put it there, just know that it might be a week till I see it. Blue Sky is a better way to get me as well. So, and the better way to get Utah Hockey Club action is to tune in to the Buffalo game. So Thursday, Buffalo to start this homestand, a key homestand for the Utah Hockey Club. We will be back tomorrow with another wild card look and just tell you where the standings are heading into a critical weekend. We're going to keep an eye on the points, the games remaining. Robyn's going to get into those 1 millionth of a percentage point prediction, and we'll have that all for you and more. Thanks for being a part of the Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast.